Well, hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be sharing my brand new art business plan so you can see exactly how I plan to make my money for the next 12 months. I'll be covering the big picture items, what I plan on selling, how I've priced my art, my target market, some research, marketing and sales strategies, and a drip of finance. And don't forget to stay right to the end because I'm going to share a little studio update and a sneak peek into a couple of paintings that I just started yesterday. Okay, let's dive straight in. I do have my iPad here with notes on, so forgive me if I'm looking down. It's to make sure I don't forget all the items that I wanted to cover today. So this is what I call a working draft plan. i.e. it's not set in stone. I think one of the biggest fears that artists generally have, and it might be your fear too, and let me know in the comments if it is that if you write it down, you have to stick 100% to exactly what you wrote in the plan. And look, it would be ideal if you've come up with an idea and you've written it down and you've taken the time and you've filled out an entire business plan. That's probably because you want to be selling those things. However, sometimes it needs to be a little fluid. What if you get started in one direction and the most amazing opportunity comes? Do you say no to that opportunity because it's not on my plan? You want to assess it and then see whether you want to bring it into the plan. So that's why I call it a draft and working plan. So you can breathe a sigh of relief. I say don't forget to share below if that's an issue for you. What holds you back from actually putting a plan down onto paper? Is it fear that you won't succeed with it? Is it fear that you have to stick to it rigidly? What is it for you? Okay, I digress. Okay, so the first part is what I call the big picture. There's a lot of different things in there. It starts with a turnover goal and then a bit about the vision, mission, purpose, why I want to be doing the business model I want to use. And some goals. So let's just run through what I've got here. So I've said that my turnover goal, I've gone for 60,000. Now this is Australian dollars, not that it makes any difference, but I'm in Australia. And that's 5,000 a month, obviously. I have got current expenses. This is also like a startup plan for me because I feel like this iteration of the art business almost feels like it's a fresh start. So I'm calling it a sort of fresh start. I've already got current expenses of 1,500 and I can't really do anything about those. So that's the current expenses. I'm allowing around 1,000 for cash flow and tax, and then with an ideal salary of 2,500. So again, make notes. If this is something that you want to achieve, this is the moment for you to press pause on the video, get yourself a note, paper and pen, and you can write along with what I'm doing. And then of course you can alter your plan accordingly. And if you'd like my free resource that I'll link below this video, I've got a business plan checklist, so make sure to grab that as well. And I've also got a business planning course. So if you really want to do it in full detail, then I'll link all of that below the video. Okay, so what's my vision? The vision is to have time freedom to travel wherever I want, attend art retreats, do long stays abroad, like a month in Rome. I have a dream, I have a vision, I can see myself in a little Airbnb apartment in Rome, opening the shutters, looking out over the city, and doing a bit of art and sketching and whatever. That's part of the vision, right? This is the reason we create a business, because we want to have that vision that drives us on days when, I always say, it's grey and wet and you don't feel like doing anything. What else does it say? Spend lots of quality time, obviously, with my grandson, my family and friends, all whilst building a glorious art business on my terms from a studio building that I own. And look, I love this, and I have the studio on lease for another 2 years, but the building's for sale. We don't really know what's in the future. And ideally, I'd probably like something that's mine that I could plan long term. So that's my vision, my mission, to provide the best high quality, easy to consume art business products. Now, obviously, this plan includes my art and it includes this that you're watching right now. So I've written that as a mission. I could write another mission if I wanted for the art specifically. But for the moment, this is the overall, because I feel like predominantly the income might become, well, you'll see, you'll find out, keep watching to find out where the income is going to come from this year. Purpose: to create a full-time income from my creativity and leave a legacy to help future artists make a living from their art. What business model am I going to use for this business? Predominantly offline for the art, with open studios, exhibitions, competitions, art fair. These are the things that I feel like they just feel like second nature to me. It's how I built my business in the UK, and it's how I plan to do it here. But of course, there'll be some online presence too. There'll be an art website, and I might look at putting my art back on Blue Thumb, Saatchi Art, maybe, who knows. And then the courses, of course, they're going to be 100% online. So let's share some short-term goals. And I've already got stuck into these, so that's great. So short-term goals, I kind of look at these as being up to maybe 6 months. And these are your stepping stones. So you have the vision, this is where I'm going. You know, I'm going to be traveling a lot. And one day I'm going to have a lovely studio of my own. What do I need to do to get there? All right, I need to get some income coming in, obviously. So my first short-term goal is to do a pre-launch of a brand new course by the end of May. Now, time of shooting, it's May already, and I haven't even sat down with that yet. But we'll see how we go with that one. That's quite a tight goal. It seemed good when I wrote it a few weeks ago. All right, to have a brand new art website complete and launched also by the end of May. And again, I feel this is necessary, even if it's very simple. So I've got other videos on websites and when to have them and how to build them. So I'll put a link to websites also below this video if you want to know more. Goal number 3 is my new floral and still life collection complete by the end of June. And I've written brackets. So what does complete look like? 8 large canvases minimum of, right? I have 5 in process at the moment to complete. So by the end of June, that's actually very achievable. So we might find that I achieve that early, and perhaps the course might end up being more into June than May. But at the end of the day, having a goal, having a market in place, driving me forward, right? The 4th short-term goal is have future art exhibitions, open studios, competitions, all booked into the diary by the end of June. And then the 5th goal is have a second online course launched by the end of August. All right, that's the sort of far out goal. So what have I got going on? I've got some painting going on. I'm doing that. I've got a new course that I want to do, or perhaps I might be reworking the business planning course. So watch this space. I've got an art website. I've already got the Shopify account sitting there. I know how to use it. It's going to be fairly easy for me to put that together, I feel. And then really just sitting down and filling out that diary with future things. So I feel like that's achievable, right? When you write the goals, you want to make sure that they feel achievable. They're not something that feels, oh my God, I'm never going to do it. We want some quick wins here, all right? I need those. You're going to need those as well. Long-term goal, 100,000 plus just from the online courses. That would be very nice. And then my own studio in lovely surroundings. And that, again, is more about the vision piece. All right, what am I going to be selling? Number 2, if we're counting. Obviously, online courses, original art. And then from there, I'm thinking print on demand, prints or print on demand products. I've always hankered after doing that. So I still feel that's sitting there. That's a little goal unachieved. So I'd like to do that, but I don't have a time frame. See, I said it was draft. I don't have a time frame or any pressure for when I do that. When it feels right, I have enough products, I have some time, then I'll come back in and go, okay, do you know what I said? I wanted to do that. Then I've just added in, and here's the truth, this morning, I told you guys I want to be transparent. This morning I've added in art workshops as number 4, mainly because I'm being hounded to run some workshops outside of this building. And I thought, well, this is pretty easy for me to do. So maybe I will bring that in. Maybe it sits as a sideline, not quite sure yet. All right, could be a future course though, I'm thinking. So again, I've got my core things I'm doing. This is what I want for you. The online courses and the original art are my 2 core products. And the print on demand is nice, kind of comes off the original art. And the art workshops, well, I live and breathe teaching and running workshops. So that's pretty easy for me to just kind of tack on as and when. Okay, the bit that somebody already asked me, thank you for the lady who asked me how was I going to price things. I do have a video on my actual 6 steps to pricing. So again, I'll pop that as a resource for you to watch next underneath this one if you haven't already. So here's the price point. The online course, so at the moment it's not quite known, but it'll be somewhere between 97 and 297. And I'm going to assume for the numbers, say 250 for the moment, because it makes the numbers easy. Now, here comes the art. This is what I feel like most of you want to know. So this is all in inches, so forgive me if you're in centimeters, you'll have to get your converter out. So 12 by 12 canvases, 750, 20 by 20, 1,250, 30 by 30, 2,000, 30 by 40, 2,750, 36 by 36. I'm trying to reduce the sizes I'm using, but this is what I've got around. 36 by 36, 3,000, 40 by 40, 3,500, and 60 by 60, 5,000. So that's what I'm looking at the price point for the moment. Now we have to bear in mind, and if you watch that video, you're going to understand that part of those 6 steps is looking at your marketing and sales strategy. If, for example, I was going to put all of that artwork into a gallery, then chances are by the time I've taken away the cost of the frame, the cost of any paints and mediums, and then I take away the 50%, I need to be happy with the remainder of the money. If I sell it myself, I've probably just got the canvas, the paints, and the 3% card processing fee. We're going to bear that in mind, and you might alter and adjust accordingly. But that's what I've got going on at the moment. All right, the print-on-demand products, well, they're kind of a little bit set in stone, but I'm thinking somewhere between 25 and 250 if I were to do a big print. The margins are pretty small, again, not really known at the moment, so I've just wrote that down as notes. And then I've added in this morning art workshops, could be like 75 to 125 for a 3-hour class. Okay, so now we ask ourselves, how many units do I need to sell to hit my 5,000 a month? And here's the thing, all right, in any plan, you're not likely going to have one thing and need to sell just the one thing. But if you did, this is how the numbers look. So if I did just that, if I sold just my art business online courses at 250, then I need to sell 20 of those a month. Original art, if I sold, for example, 3 30 by 30s, that's what I'd need to do every month. I'd need a very solid strategy of where I'm going to put that art. If I only sold original art, I'd need to sell 3 30 by 30s a month to meet my target. Where am I going to do that? Have I got enough time to paint more paintings? This is what I get caught in the UK model. All I sold predominantly was original art. I had some prints and I had some cards, but they were lost leaders. And I was churning, and I've said that this time around, I don't want to do that. I want to paint for the joy of it. Yes, I want to make money from it, but predominantly I'm really happy that my income comes from helping you guys to do the same thing, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And maybe I'll sneak in some art courses. You never know. Right, if we just did print on demand products alone, and I'd need to sell 100 items of something that gave me a 50% markup. That's more likely to be a 25% markup. That might be 200 items a month. So again, I'd really need to be running ads, and I'd need to be doing some strategy to get that happening. And then I just added in, if I did workshops, and if I only did workshops and I built a workshop business, I would need to sell 67 places a month at $75. So suddenly you start to go, oh, that's a lot of workshops, isn't it? People do it. Paint and sip, it's a model, it's out there, it works. Okay, but the percentage, so this is what I say. You look at the products and services you've got, and then you say, okay, what percentage of my income is coming from which item? It's kind of like a pie chart thing. And I've said right now initially, 80% of my income is likely to come from online course sales. I've already got courses, all right? So it's not too difficult. And if I update or make a new one, like I've already got that in motion, I'm not at the beginning stage. So that I feel could be quite easy. And then maybe 20% just needs to come from the original art. And that would be stage one, just those two things. All right, let's move on to audience, target market. Who are the people that are going to purchase these things? Okay, for the artwork, so I've said my target market, art collectors, like home builders, decor enthusiasts, floral lovers, likely, typically females, not always necessarily, but typically I imagine. So I've written out an ideal customer, just a short paragraph, and I've said, Nancy, aged 45, lives in Cottesloe, it's a very nice area of Perth, with her partner and 2 children. She runs her own health business from home, so she values investing in local artists and wants to be uplifted by beautiful, colourful floral art. A large piece perfect for her dining room, some smaller still lifes give vibrancy in her kitchen, and the colours work with her decor. And she loves to tell her friends where she got her original art from. She has a budget put aside for her home, and no price is too large for the right piece of artwork. She buys from the heart. If she loves it, she's having it. And although she predominantly buys local, she still looks on Instagram and online galleries for inspiration. And I could go on. But I hope you see that by just writing even that bit, and I've made her up. I don't know Nancy. Nancy, if you live in Cottesloe and you're watching, sorry. I've made her up. And now from here, we can see, okay, so a smart thing to do would be to run a referral program, because Nancy likes to tell her friends, right? So we've got lots of clues in here. She's looking on Instagram and online galleries for inspiration. So should I be on Instagram? I've started back up. Should I be on online galleries? Yep. Should I be trying to have exhibitions and things in the vicinity of Cottesloe? Definitely, right? The clues are in this piece that I've written. Niche statement I've written for the moment. These are all works in progress. Semi-abstract florals and still lives for art collectors and home builders. Gives us something, right? And then if we switch over for the courses, sorry, that's you guys. Artists who want to make a living from their artwork and or art services and are currently experiencing some pain around that, some challenges, and they're quite motivated to get a quick solution and paying for it. All right, so again, if you are running something like that, write out who your ideal audience is. I haven't actually looked, there's a gap. See, there's a gap in my notes. I haven't actually written out the ideal. I feel like I know so many people who are the ICA, but I feel like I'd end up be writing somebody. So I haven't written that, and maybe I'll just keep that to myself for the moment. All right, niche statement there. I guess you guys knowing that. Helping artists to make more sales by building a profitable business. So let's talk about a bit of research. It's really important to stay up to date with what's happening in the market. Now, right now, people are watching their pennies. The financial situation is all a bit volatile. We don't really know what's going to happen. So people who perhaps in that middle area might have splurged on things are probably going, I'm just going to look right now and not splurge. So we need to kind of keep on top of what's happening. However, online courses are thriving, and more people who are stuck in their day jobs and they're frustrated, they want an outlet for creative art, to be creative. So if you're making online courses or workshops for people to come and do that, I feel like that's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger at the moment. I've written down a few competitors that I found one on Instagram, one on two on Blue Thumb, I think, who again paint florals and still lifes. And then what we do is we dive in a little bit deeper and look at their website. One website was okay, average, and I'm thinking I can do better than that. The Instagram was pretty good, so that's like, okay, I need to raise my game there. So we're looking at what they do well, what they might be missing, what are they offering, what are they not offering, and how could I match that and then improve on it, because we always want to be improving. And the thing is, when we do all of that and we plug it into a spreadsheet or something, don't just leave it there and assume that people stay in business. All right, this is what I found. A lot of people came up during COVID and they're no longer my competitor now because they're not doing it anymore. Or they've got a course on how to make money from your art on one particular strategy. That's great, but it's not the same as mine. So if you're doing something that you feel has loads of competitors, that's great, because it means there's a market there of people who want that. You've just got to find how to differentiate yourself, how to come up with something different in the marketplace. I do love a SWOT analysis, so that's the next bit on the plan here. What does that stand for? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. This is vital. Listen to this. You're going to list out what the strengths are of your business. So strengths for me, I'm an experienced coach, trainer, teacher, artist. I've got marketing skills, I've got a dedicated studio, and I'm available like full-time to do this. And I could write more, but I felt like those were the key points. Weaknesses, definitely my health and energy. I don't talk about that publicly, but I'm a recovering from chronic fatigue person. So some days are really, really good. Other days are not so good. Probably cash flow at the beginning when you're starting out, and I do have very high outgoings, so they could potentially be weaknesses. And I have a tendency to procrastinate. Yeah, I'm good at that. Opportunities. People are, like I said, people looking to get creative and happy to pay for classes. Paint and sip still booming, right? Florals are trending. Florals and still lives suits a global market. I'm not doing specific WA flowers, which would mean that only really people here in Australia want to buy those flowers. I'm doing flowers that are global flowers. Other artists really want to leave the day job and build a business doing what they love. Is that you? Do you want to get out of the job and actually do what you love for a living? Online courses keeps the cost down, okay? And then also artwork, prints as well, again, keeps the cost down for people who are not splurging. Threats, here we go. Global economy, global pandemic, we had one, who's to say we wouldn't have one again? And then what we need to do is look at that and we go, okay, how can I plug the gaps in terms of the weaknesses and the threats? So in terms of weaknesses, I really have to look after myself, right? I have to put my health and energy first. And in terms of cash flow, then it's like looking at, okay, got some savings, where's some other money come from, all of that, high outgoings, I've got some of them down. So you mitigate some of that. The threats, global economy, not much I can do about that. Global pandemic, not much I can do about that. What I can do is stay on top of it, is to be informed, is to put a reminder every month to be informed, is to think about what would happen if we went into a COVID situation again. How would I adapt what I'm doing to make sure I can keep the business going? So obviously by being online, by keeping a product in each area that's a low cost point, like a print, even going into, you potentially down the track, if something like that happened again, you could go into those print at home prints. So you set it all up so somebody can download it at home and print their print at home. So they can still get your art. They don't have to leave the house. So we have to think about what would happen if something like that happened. How would I keep my business going? Wouldn't be running workshops, right? Wouldn't be doing local galleries or all of those things. So what would be that next strategy to keep the business going? So obviously using the website, using ads, using those marketing strategies that we're talking about in a minute. That's how I'd keep that going. Okay, talking about sales and marketing, let's switch to that. I want to try and keep this video short. It's just impossible. There's so much to tell you. I'm so sorry. This is the last 2 bits. So I really wanted to hone in and not have too much going on. Somebody emailed me recently and said, I watch your videos, I do all this stuff, and I'm doing all these things. And one thing that I really noticed was from the sort of marketing or brand awareness perspective, there were a lot of things listed out. And my suggestion was pick a couple of them and hone in on those and get started. So if I were to pick, if I were to pick two marketing strategies for this side of the business, you're watching one of them, YouTube and my emails. And that really is the focus. I'm not really doing anything much on social media. I don't really want to do anything much on social media. It's not really where I want to hang out. So where I want to hang out is here and on my emails. And I share things on the emails that I don't share here in the videos or anywhere else. So if you're not on my email list, you might want to hop on, get yourself a freebie from below the video and join my email list, because I'm sharing all sorts of tips and tricks that you can't get anywhere else, okay? So YouTube, email marketing, and then events for the art. So open studios, group shows, solo shows, that's the art fair, because we only have one in WA. Possible galleries down the track. Strategy number 4, ads. This is going to be something that can really help. We're in the studio, I'm painting, I want to have some things running that I don't have to be part of. So running likely Instagram and Facebook ads, definitely for the courses, definitely for prints, is really going to help things. Instagram to build the art brand, to build the awareness, to lead people over to the website once it's up. Just to kind of share behind the scenes, this is a visual for somebody to go to. I'm not gonna go, don't want to go hard with, like I said, I don't really massively value social media, and actually one of the courses I'm going to be creating this year is how to build your business without social media, so look out for that. The website and doing SEO on the website. So I'm building my art site on Shopify. That's going to be very easy to plug in all of that, and I'm going to link Printify to do my print on demand into that once it's all set up. So I've got 6 strategies for those 2 sort of things, and I think that works pretty well, you know. So the YouTube becomes weekly, the emails become weekly or twice a week. Art events, obviously, as much as possible. We'll see once we fill that spreadsheet. Ads running for maybe, 10 days out of a month, for example. Instagram probably needs to be daily for the art for the moment. And the website will be periodically in terms of keeping up all the SEO and adding listings, that sort of thing. Right, what are we doing for sales strategies? Well, for me, I'd like to run regular events for my art. So solo show, group shows, open studio, something that I can control perhaps with a private view exclusive to people who are either on my list, who've bought from me before, etc., etc. Don't have a list here in WA, it's very, very minimal. So we're wanting to build that as soon as possible. Like using email for exclusive offers, i.e., want just for people on the list, Instagram and Facebook ad campaigns for the prints and products, and I'm going to utilize things like Easter, Mother's Day, different holidays. And then last but not least, like a drip of the finances. So like I said, I've got current expenses of $1,500 without the ad spend. But here's the thing, if we get the ads right, they will be making me money. I don't want to run ads at a loss. So it might be an outlay first, and then the money comes back in 2, 3, 4 times would be how we'd like it to be. Okay, I think that's probably it. So now it's time to just give you a couple of minutes of what I am painting. Okay, so this was one that you've probably seen on Instagram if you follow my art Instagram, and I had the lemons going on and the bowl and the vase, but the vase was really small and I didn't like it, so I painted over it, brought the vase right to the forefront. And here's the thing with semi-abstract, and this is what I really love about it, it's just about composition and how it fits together. It's not realistic, I just want these things to work. I've changed the color palette a little bit, and also this vase and this bowl, they belong to me back in the day. I've brought them from the UK and they have a lot of personal memories, so they're important. The pattern is being replicated, and the vase is over there on the table and the bowl is over on the table. I haven't dealt with that yet, but that's kind of what's going on with that piece. And then yesterday I started this one, which is my glorious sunflowers. And I've even put some in blue because, again, it doesn't matter, does it? It's where it feels right. I've enjoyed the yellow. I've put some in blue. There's a few bottles. There's some fruit on the table. It feels quite autumnal, which is perfect because it's autumn here in WA. So there we have it. If you want to see what happens with those pieces, you want to hop on my email list because I do send out pictures of those. Follow me on my art Instagram, which you can get below, and hang out here on YouTube with me because I will keep you updated with that as well. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching all of that. I hope it's super helpful. Don't forget to grab yourself your business plan checklist and look at the other videos that I've got under there, and I will see you on another video. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.